here to be a part of it. So.
Well, thank you. Do you want to give your name?
My name is Gary Johnson.
And where do you live?
I live in Madison.
And let's see, it is on. I just want to make sure. And today is March 3rd. I just ran into you, and you said you've been out here every day since what, February 15th?
I've been here every day, whatever that first Monday was. I was here the first Monday after the bill was, the budget repair bill was announced. I've been here every day since.
And what compels you to be out here every day? Why are you here?
I am a retired teacher. I have been a strong union advocate for 35 years, and this is an unprecedented power grab to take rights away from workers, and I have to be here.
That's wonderful, and it hasn't been easy to be out here every day. This is the middle of winter.
Wisconsin people are hardy, though. So. It was much nicer when we could go in the building before they locked us out.
Yes, yes.
And so you could be outside for a while and go inside and warm up, and that was nicer.
So the Capitol has been locked since Sunday night.
Correct.
And what are your feelings about this? This is your Capitol.
It's a violation of state law. It should not be locked. There's hearings going on right now to try and force them to open it. There are hearings going on in there. There are people who want to talk to the representatives. They can't go in and do that. It's taking away people's rights to have their voices heard. And this has been going on, this rally's been going on for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks there have been, I believe, 2 citations issued. One of which was yesterday outside the Capitol for someone unplugging the power cords to the Fox News truck.
I didn't hear about that.
Otherwise, the other one I think was a civil disobedience. Someone told to move and refused and was ticketed.
So what's your overall view of the protests these past 2 weeks? How would you characterize these protests?
It's been absolutely amazing. Everyone is so respectful. And they're very angry, but they're very respectful. Everyone treats each other well. We treat the police officers well. There are raised voices, but not raised voices in anger at a particular person. There's no disputes that I've seen. It's been an amazingly. I told people I've been polite for so long. I'm beginning to feel Canadian.
You're Wisconsin. You're Wisconsin.
Wisconsin people are pretty feisty, but it's been from the get-go. It's been the emphasis has been nonviolence. We'll make our point. We're going to do it in a simple manner.
And you said you were a teacher for 35 years. Have you seen some of your former students out here?
I have. I taught, I've seen several of my former students here because I taught anatomy and physiology, and most of my students were going into nursing. So I've seen several of my students here who are also going to be affected by this bill because they work at the university hospital or other state institutions, Central Wisconsin Center. So they are directly impacted by all this.
Now the Walker's budget repair bill, as it's called, contains a number of different aspects that will have a huge impact on Wisconsin. Which to you is your central issue that you're fighting for?
My central issue is the attempt basically to kill unions. I mean, it doesn't specifically prohibit unions, but it essentially makes them meaningless. And his intent is to kill them because he said, well, yes, public employees are going to take a financial hit, but they can recoup some of that money because they won't have to pay union dues.
Yeah.
So in other words, don't pay the union dues, the union goes away.
Right.
We didn't prohibit the union, but it just happened. By some miraculous chain of events. But that's disgusting. Wisconsin has a very strong union tradition. We are the first state to have unemployment compensation, the first state to have workmen's compensation. We are the home of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, one of the largest nations and one of the largest unions in the nation. And we have a very strong labor history, fighting Bob LaFollette, Progressive Party. This is not Wisconsin. This is not how Wisconsin works.
Now, you say you're a native of Madison, or
Born and raised.
then you were here during the protests during the Vietnam War.
I was.
How would you
I was at the
characterize the
University
difference?
of Wisconsin.
So you were on the front lines, probably.
I was.
Okay. What can you tell me about the difference between then and now?
That was a very hostile protest. That was a lot of anger, and the police were not our friends in that struggle. Partly because the protesters weren't friendly, but also because the police at that point in time weren't really friendly either. The police back in the 60s would just as soon bust your head as ask you politely to move aside. But that's changed greatly. So that was a lot more confrontational. I think this is actually, in terms of numbers, bigger. In terms of variety of people participating, it's hugely different. And the Vietnam protests were largely young people, college students. Not entirely, but probably 75% at least. It's older people, like I put myself in that category since I'm now retired. It's parents with children, it's young adults, it's the TAA, the Teaching Assistants Association. It's people from all across the spectrum. It's rural people. It's people from Madison. Walker tries to portray this as being outside agitators and union thugs. There are people from outside Wisconsin, but they are very few. Saturday, when we had 100,000 people here, I would say if there were 2,000 people from outside Wisconsin, I would be surprised. I see people and I talk to people. I know they're from Wisconsin. And they're not just Madison rabble-rouser people either. They're from all across the state. I see people from Hudson, Wisconsin on the Mississippi River. I've seen people from Superior at the farther northern part of the state. I've seen people from Racine in the southeast corner of the state. I've seen people from Prairie du Chien in the southwest corner of the state. I've seen people from Door County. I know they're from all over. And so this is just very universal.
How do you see this playing out?
I see this playing out. I don't know how it's going to play out in the short term. In the long term, right will win out. I feel we won one battle already, and that is when we started protesting here, Walker let it go on thinking it was going to run its course. I think he thought, well, people make a lot of noise, but after a week or so they're going to get tired of it, and the novelty of it will wear off, and the fun of it will wear off, and they'll go home, and then that'll be it. Well, the second Saturday we had almost twice as many people as the first Saturday, and then he had to lock us out. So he got to the point where he couldn't, decided he was done waiting us out, and then he had to lock us out. So I consider that as a victory. We didn't give up. We in fact got stronger. So his answer was, well, then I'm just going to keep you out of the Capitol. So he lost that. And I think he's going to continue to lose. We might not win every battle. I'd be surprised if we did. But we're going to win in the long run.
Wonderful. Anything else you'd like to say?
I'd like to say, when this budget bill came out, it made me, I felt bad about being in Wisconsin to see that come about, and since these rallies have come about, I've never been prouder.